Now on? Okay. Good afternoon. This is the February 3rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Santa Barbara City Council. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Certainly. Councilmember Friedman.
Here.
Councilmember Santa Maria.
Here.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Present.
Mayor Rouse.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sneddon.
Here.
Councilmember Harmon.
Here.
And Councilmember Jordan.
Here.
All right, very good. And we have some ceremonial item to read.
Yes, Employee Recognition Service Award pins.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It is my pleasure to announce the February 2026 Employee Service Award recipients. I'll go through 5, 10, and 20 years, and then we do have one recipient for 25 years here in the audience. So for 5 years, we'll recognize Jillian Fennessy, who's an assistant planner in community development, Samehi Madrigal, who's a police officer, Eric Biddle, supervising engineer in the Public Works Department, Art Macias, wastewater treatment plant operator 3 in the Department of Water Resources, Catalina Moranci, Spanish outreach coordinator in the Library Department, Todd Newell, Parks Superintendent in Parks and Recreation, and Chris Schrakey, Harbor Patrol Officer in the Water Department. We'll give those folks a round of applause. And for 10 years of service, we have Salvatore Perea, Administrative Analyst 3 in Finance, and Angela Rodriguez, Administrative Analyst 3 in Waterfront. Apparently, we hired a lot of people in the fire department 15 years ago, so I'm going to announce all of them now. Patrick Ire, fire captain, Alex Carbo, fire engineer, Mark Kramer, fire engineer, Ryan Ortiz, fire captain, Daniel Warren, fire engineer, Gabriel Donald, fire engineer, Renzo Durbiano, fire captain, Jason Fernandez, firefighter, and Jesse Guana, fire engineer, and not in the fire department, Lucas Bear, water treatment plant operator 3 in the Department of Water Resources. And we have one employee celebrating 20 years of service, Rick Ornelas, senior street maintenance worker in Public Works. And I'll read the 2 other 25-year recipients, and then we'll go to the in-person awards. So the 2 other employees celebrating 25 years of service, Kenneth Kushner, Assistant Police Chief, and Kelly Greeley, Senior Control Systems Operator Specialist in the Department of Water Resources. We'll give them a round of applause. And last but certainly not least, we have Lieutenant Ryan Dijon from the Police Department, who is here to receive his 25 years of service recognition.
Brian, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
This is the largest security detail I've ever seen for a Sister Cities meeting before. Must be a rough crowd. Ryan Dijon, Police Lieutenant, 25 years of service, February 2026. Ryan Dijon began his career with the City of Santa Barbara Police Department in 1998 as a police cadet. In 1999, Ryan became a reserve police officer for the police department. In January 2001, Ryan was selected to attend the police academy. He graduated in July 2001 and began his career as a Santa Barbara police officer. Ryan has held many positions during his tenure at the police department, which includes crime scene investigator, community action team member, and narcotics detective. He was promoted to police sergeant in March 2018. As a sergeant, Ryan supervised patrol teams, recruiting and employee wellness, the community action team, and the special investigation unit. In August 2024, Ryan was promoted to lieutenant. He is currently assigned as a patrol watch commander. Ryan has received numerous commendations to his career, including the Gary Award for Outstanding Performance 2 times and the Chief's Meritorious Award. Ryan is known for his leadership, his teamwork, and his strong ethic. Ryan has a loving family that has supported him through his career. His wife, Laura, a former Santa Barbara Police Department dispatcher, and their 2 children have been by his side every step of his career. Ryan DeJean, on behalf of the City Council, the residents of Santa Barbara, and your fellow employees, it is my pleasure to recognize your exemplary 25-year career and thank you for your outstanding service to the Santa Barbara community. Ryan, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Say a few words.
Thank you very much. You guys are too kind. I was reflecting on my career, and I was kind of reflecting on being here after 25 years. And I think that the thing that stood out to me is that my family's been there for me throughout my career. It's a wonderful job. It's a challenging job at times. And for me, without the support of my wife and other family members, it wouldn't have been possible. So, Lori, I love you. Thank you so much for always being there. This department is unique, I believe. I've worked and gone to trainings and I know a lot of officers from other agencies. And we have a really strong department. It's really close. We hire really good people. And I think that's what's made it worthwhile and enjoyable for me to come to work every day. That's never changed in 25 years, and it makes it a great place to be employed. I like what I do, but I love being able to give back to the community. Santa Barbara is where my dad started a business, and it's where I kind of grew up remotely. The people of Santa Barbara treat our department and the employees really well and fairly, and I've always appreciated that. So I'm happy and I appreciate the recognition, and I look forward to continuing my career. So, thank you.
All right, very good. Madam Administrator, any changes to the agenda?
I'm not aware of any changes, Mayor.
Okay, very good. And with that, we'll go to the consent calendar. Madam Clerk, you have some items to read.
I do. A few, actually. Item 2, introduction of an ordinance approving Agreement 202507 with Kenneth Hall, sole proprietor, DBA Goleta Building Materials, Inc. at the airport. Ordinance introduction agreement. Recommendation the council introduce and subsequently adopt by reading of title only an ordinance of the council of the city of Santa Barbara approving and authorizing the airport director to execute agreement number 202507 with Kenneth Hall, sole proprietor, DBA Goleta Building Materials, Inc., a California corporation, and for the premises located at 91 Frederick Lopez Road, 90 Frederick Lopez Road, and 90A Frederick Lopez Road, Santa Barbara, California, commencing upon the effective date of the enabling ordinance. Item 3, introduction of an ordinance approving agreement 202501 with ME Inc. at the airport. Ordinance introduction agreement. The council introduce and subsequently adopt by reading of title only an ordinance of the council of the city of Santa Barbara approving and authorizing the airport director to execute agreement number 202501 with ME Inc., a California corporation located in the Santa Barbara Airport Airline Terminal at 500 James Fowler Road, commencing upon the effective date of the enabling ordinance. Item 4, establish of City of Santa Barbara Water Resources Department, ordinance introduction. Recommendation that council introduce and subsequently adopt by reading of title only an ordinance of the council of the City of Santa Barbara amending Title 2 of the Santa Barbara Municipal Code by adding Chapter 2.35 and amending Section 2.39.040 relating to the establishment of a Water Resources Department. Item 5, authorize execution of the Second Amendment to the Clean Water State Revolving Fund Installment Sale Agreement for the Braemar Lift Station Rehabilitation Project, ordinance introduction resolution agreement. Recommendation of the council, A, introduce and subsequently adopt by reading of title only an ordinance of the council of the city of Santa Barbara approving the Second Amendment to the installment sale agreement with the State Water Resources Control Board for the Braemar Lift Station Rehabilitation Project, project number 8602-110, and B, adopt by reading of title only a resolution of the Council of the City of Santa Barbara, amending resolution number 25066, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2026 to appropriate the Second Amendment to the Clean Water State Revolving Fund loan for the Braemar Lift Station Rehabilitation Project. Item 6, change of status of sister cities relationship with Cusco, Peru. Resolution. Recommendation the council adopt by reading of title only a resolution of the council of the city of Santa Barbara providing for the reestablishment of a sister city relationship with the city of Cusco, Peru. Item 7, authorizing waterfront director to declare unseaworthy or dilapidated vessels as abandoned property pursuant to Harbors and Navigation Code Section 522. Resolution. Recommendation the council adopt by reading of title only a resolution of the council of the city of Santa Barbara authorizing waterfront director to remove, store, and dispose of abandoned vessels in accordance with California Harbors Navigation Code Section 522 and approving standardized procedures for notice and disposal without requiring separate city council action for each individual vessel. And finally, item 8, construction contracts for the Sheffield Pump Station Electrical Instrumentation and Controls Replacement Project Resolution Agreement. Recommendation the council C, adopt by reading of title only a resolution of the Council of the City of Santa Barbara amending Resolution 25066, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2026 to appropriate $250,000 for the Sheffield Pump Station Electrical Instrumentation and Controls Replacement Project.
All right, very good. Are there any items that any council member needs to pull for further discussion or separate vote? Madam Clerk, is anyone online for that item?
No hands raised, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I would actually like to pull item 6 for discussion. All right. And with that, I will take a motion on the balance of the consent calendar absent item 6. Moved by Sneddon.
Second.
Second by Santa Maria. May we have are we doing a roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
We'll do a roll call vote, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Please do.
Councilmember Frieden?
Yes.
Councilmember Santa Maria?
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sneddon?
Yes.
Councilmember Harmon?
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan?
Yes.
And Mayor Rouse.
Aye. All right, very
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
Passed
and I
unanimously.
apologize, just to state that was, I'm
Right.
sorry to, sorry. Motion for consent calendar except for item 6, motion by Councilmember Sneddon, seconded by Councilmember Santa Maria. Sorry.
So noted. Thank you. I will take a report from the Finance Committee. Mr. Chair.
So today at the Finance Committee, we met regarding a potential revenue measure for the ballot for November of this year and forwarded up to the full council for consideration in March to go forward with a potential real estate transfer tax that would be on parcels over $3 million and generate approximately $5.1 million per year. And that information will be coming to the council for full consideration in about 2 months from now, a month and a half.
All right, thank you very much. And with that, we'll move on to general public comment. That's 3 minutes at the dais for anything that is not on today's agenda, but within the purview of this body. And I have David Crockett Williams as a speaker.
Thank you very much. Yesterday was the midwinter day known as Groundhog Day. This is a day selected 30 years ago by my Algonquin elder, William Commanda, to conduct his sacred ceremony as the keeper of the Seven Fires Wampum Belt at East Beach to further the eighth fire prophecy of the world peace to come. This is similar to the Hopi Life Plan prophecy interpreted by my mentor, Thomas Banyaka, who spoke here to this city council meeting in 1989 by my arrangement. This East speech ceremony marked the conclusion of the Walk for Peace, called the Sunbow 5 Walk from the East Coast to Santa Barbara. This walk was done by Grandfather Comanda's supporters toward the Chumash Western Gate, ending in 1996. For this reason, yesterday I conducted my Santa Barbara Walk for Peace from the East Beach to the Dolphin Fountain as a prayer with my Chumash after my prayer with my Chumash elder, Art Cisneros. This was to promote my visions since 1977 of an American Peace March to the White House as a theme for a popular reality TV show, which I intend to produce as my role as a claimant surrogate king of Jerusalem, Israel, for the physical return of Jesus Christ by the paranormal means of the Sai Baba avatars. I have been greatly inspired by my brothers and the Buddha Sangha, the Buddhist monks who are walking now, conducting their walk for peace from Texas to Washington, D.C., ending a way ending a week from today at the National Cathedral. I pray that President Trump will receive their message of peace, the true Dharma, their great law of peace, the subject of my book from Amazon, Restoring the Great Law of Peace. I do want to offer a brief prayer. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you.
All right, very good. Any further public comment on the line, Madam Clerk?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, very good. We'll move back to item 6 on the consent calendar. I pulled that. And recognizing a lot of our sister cities group here from Miraflores, I wanted to say, number one, hello, and thank you for coming in. Mr. Gutierrez and I were down with you in Peru, and on our visit to Cusco, we're extremely warmly welcomed by the mayor and their staff. And as we walked through their city hall, we realized we are still, as a city, very prominently displayed among the other sister cities. And I know that officially, I think, and I don't know how officially it was, Holly, but it was like, it's a long time ago they did, quote unquote, officially dissolved it. However, we still have it carved in our placita out there, the historic placita, as a sister city. Cusco itself, in terms of the way it feels, the way it looks architecturally and whatnot, reminds me a lot more of Santa Barbara than anything along the coast does. So it's pretty, and just amazing people there too. So I will be very proud to support this idea of reestablishing our sister city relationship with Cusco, who still, by the way, thinks we are a sister city. So no news to them, but it's a lovely place to be. And in fact, they're getting ready to build, or up in that area, they're building another international airport. So who knows if you're going to have to fly to Peru or to Lima anymore, but that probably won't make those guys happy. Mr. Gutierrez, you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's just a great experience to be able to have that warm welcome there, and I just can't praise our sister cities enough and encourage everyone to be a part of a sister cities organization, because it's honestly one of the best things you can do for yourself, for your community, and for your country.
All right, very good. And with that, I will make a motion that we approve item 6.
I second.
Second by Mr. Gutierrez. May we have the roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Yes, and this is a motion by Mayor Rouse, seconded by Councilmember Gutierrez for item 6. And we'll do a roll call for this as well. Councilmember Santamaria?
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stettin?
Yes.
Councilmember Harmon?
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan?
Yes.
Councilmember Friedman?
Yes.
And Mayor Rouse.
Aye. Passed unanimously. Thank you very much. And congratulations to the Miraflores and now Cusco sister cities. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, moving on. We will move to City Council Administrative and Attorney reports with item 11, if you would, please. Or do you have something before that?
Nope, we're on to item 11, Mayor.
Okay, very good.
I'm going to do the presentation this afternoon. So as we in the council discussed last Thursday at the retreat, we talked about a potential ballot measure to amend the city charter. So council gave us some direction to come back today with action for the council's consideration. So the current charter, as we've talked about, requires all contracts that bind the city to be approved by city council ordinance. And so this is definitely adopting an ordinance is typically a two-step process and takes approximately 40 days. So, if we are trying to enter into contracts or leases with businesses that want to get open sooner rather than later, that it creates additional delay. And ordinances are also subject to referendum. And the other prohibition in the charter is that leases cannot have a duration longer than 50 years. This issue initially came up as part of the Paseo Nuevo development discussion in December. Councilmember, but also has implications for other potential projects in the city, whether it's looking to redevelop city parking lots into housing, the former police building site, and many other implications. And so basically this current charter provision does not allow the city to take full advantage of its power as a charter city and to enter into leases and agreements in this fashion. So what staff has put together is charter amendment language that would basically allow the city to determine whether to enter contracts that exceed 5 years by either ordinance or resolution, depending on the action. And then this basically allows the city council to continue to approve contracts. And again, would expressly eliminate the 50-year limitation on leases, sales, or use of city property, and that those leases would have limitations only subject to other restrictions, either in the charter, the constitution of the state, or in other provisions. And again, would expressly allow the city council to approve said leases of city-owned property. So this would be the proposed language for the charter amendment, basically clarifying and taking out the 50-year provision and allowing approval by ordinance or resolution. And that would be the language that would be placed as part of the information in the voter information packet. Next slide. This would be the proposed text of the ballot measure, very simple, which would just say, shall the city council propose a measure to modernize city charter section 521 relating to contracts and leases of city property. And next slide. So the proposed resolution that is attached to today's agenda does authorize for the council to call a special election on June 2nd, 2026. It places the proposed charter amendment on the ballot. It would direct the city attorney to prepare an impartial analysis, would authorize the mayor to file an argument in favor of the measure, and would request the county to consolidate the election with the statewide primary in June and have the city clerk take other actions necessary for the election. It would also appropriate funds necessary to pay the cost of a special election. Next slide. Here are some of the deadlines for the June ballot. Direct arguments would be due February 26th. Rebuttal arguments would be due March 8th to any opposition arguments that are put into effect. And the city attorney's impartial analysis would be due by March 9th. The council did ask us at the Thursday retreat to provide the cost of the two different elections. So if we put the measure on the ballot in June, it would cost approximately $195,000. If we deferred the measure to the November 26th general election, it would cost approximately $65,000. So at this point, staff does recommend that the council proceed with the June election. That particularly as negotiations with Paseo Nuevo are ongoing, we believe that provides for maximum flexibility with that, as well as other issues that may be coming up in the next near term. And I recognize the challenge of adding additional funding there, but we do believe that it is an important enough issue that we should move forward in June, and I strongly recommend that the council move forward with that June election. So that is, alternatively, you could direct staff to defer the action for the November election.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, does the request to speak button work or does it not?
Mr. Mayor, it may not be.
Okay, I don't think it is, since it says my name is Mike Jordan. That is really a very strange thing. Would you please just give me a little wave if you want to speak, please? Mr. Jordan, now, you don't have to do that, just wave.
Mine says Mayor Rouse.
Congratulations.
Couple of quick questions. The reference to state constitution, is that 99 years currently? Does that sound right?
No, there's no limit, I don't believe, and the city attorney can weigh in, but this basically would be, I think, just allow the flexibility to have a term consistent with, we would just ensure that it's consistent with any provisions related. If there's a specific type of property, there may be some specific restrictions that are in the state constitution.
Mr. Dimas.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Councilmember Jordan, this solely is and it does with the change make that point that it's a municipal affair. So we do have control unless there's something that preempts us. So we have that provision of 99 years is just instead of a infinite number, we could put no number. We are precluded, though, from two areas for sure, and we're preempted on that issue. One being federal aviation laws. So for airport property, we can only go 50 years. And then due to our Tidelands Trust with the state of California, our limitation is 66 years. But outside of those two, there really isn't an issue preempting us regarding the leasing of city property.
And then, is there any benefit or no benefit to somebody who's in the throes right now of the equivalent of a 50-year deal, and they're only 25 years through it, and they have whatever, 3 or 4 more 5-year options, to being able to extend, to have right now conversations with them to extend that? Or do we have to wait until that 50 years is up and then talk about whatever term we want?
It's a very good question, Honorable Mayor, Councilmember Jordan. It gives flexibility. If this is approved and the charter is amended, then a period of time we could have those discussions when the amendment comes up. If we want to just do a brand new contract instead of just keep doing 5 years, hey, things are going great. This is a landmark institution for this city. And they want to put in a significant amount more money in instead of worrying about like a 5-year deal.
Right.
We could have that discussion. They could put a lot more money into the project then and have more security in that regard. So, yeah.
Okay. And then there's no real tangible project right now. I mean, I know, we're up to our eyeballs with Paseo Nuevo and that constraint, and, you could pick on another wharf project from a year or two ago where they were putting a lot of money into it and had the question of time on that. But it's a lot of money. I personally don't see Paseo Nuevo happening between now and November anyhow, but you may feel different. You may feel more optimistic. But is there other stuff lingering out there, particularly of what I just asked about, particularly people who are on the bad end of the middle of a 50-year agreement or a 40 or 20-year agreement that would appreciate us being able to come back and talk about longer terms or something more flexible?
I think there are a couple recognizing, that sometimes, the FAA does make exceptions to the length of their leases. There are a couple projects that are pending at the airport that would be ground leases that could potentially, and those are in process as we speak. My concern with Paseo Nuevo is that if we waited till the November election, if the council or the ad hoc committee wanted to even have a conversation about the potential of a ground lease, then any negotiations around that would have to happen after November. And so it would just push it out that much further for any sort of real tangible, because, I'm assuming that they wouldn't necessarily entertain that even unless the charter amendment had passed already.
And clearly, the tag along to that, too, would be the Nordstrom's project, too.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The moment you start talking about it with Paseo Nuevo, we just get a second project because they're kind of married at the hip, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Sneddon?
Thank you, Mayor Rouse. I had a question about the text of the ballot measure, and it's so dry. So I was wondering if there would be relating to extending contracts and leases of city property be adopted, or something that gives the public a signal about what it is about the leases and contracts.
We could say providing maybe the council, allowing for the council to have approval, flexibility over leases. We could work on some language that's a little more, sort of descriptive, I think,
Yeah.
is what I'm hearing.
That would be my preference. I don't know where my colleagues are. And then this would apply to sort of suitable sites of parking lots that might be converted to housing, and gets us out of this situation where our only option is to give land away. We could have long-term leases on those.
Correct.
Okay. Is this questions and comments, Mayor Rouse?
It was an action item, but there are no speakers on this, but Let me go ahead and get through the questions, and we'll come back for deliberation. Any further questions from council members? Okay, then we'll go back to deliberations, and I'll give you the first shot there, or the comments.
Thank you, Mayor
whoever
Ross.
it is.
I'm in complete support of this. Not being on the ad hoc committee with Paseo Nuevo, I see this as a real bargaining piece about whether we truly are in the situation where we have to give land away for something to happen or not. And I think the sooner that question is resolved, the better. But also because of all these other projects, potentially, this would apply possibly to the police station that's going to be relocated, or other major projects. So I'd be in favor of moving this as quickly as possible, provided that we can get the information out to the public soon enough that they understand what a benefit this would be for the taxpayer.
Okay. Actually, I lied. I do have a question. Mr. Doimus, is the status of both FAA-controlled airport property as well as waterfront property in the same status as the rest of these as far as being able to have no cap on the amount of years? Are they controlled separately from or differently than the rest of our properties are?
Honorable Mayor, they are controlled differently, so.
Okay, so
we're
if we
just-
did something like this, what would this mean, for example, in the waterfront?
If we did something like this, if we did this, Honorable Mayor, if we did this charter amendment, we would still run up against a 66-year cap. So even if we have these changes, that would preempt even our
Like, is
our
that a
charter.
Tidelands Trust kind of thing?
Correct, correct.
But
'cause
but
we
we
hold it in
would
trust.
no longer be subject to the 50-year cap, so at least it would give an additional 16 years.
Okay, and
for the
then
waterfront.
airport.
Airport, we're at the 50 years, so it would have no net gain, and that's FAA regulations.
Okay, because I mentioned earlier, Ms. McAdoo, I think you mentioned something about airport, or is that different with our leased properties on the north side of Hollister, or is that all the
No,
same?
that's all airport land.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, thank you
and-
very much. Okay, I frankly don't see the leverage in the Paseo Nuevo deal, given that we have those encumbrances that we do have. I don't know if that really plays in on this, so I'm a little, like Mr. Jordan, I'm a little bit hesitant to want to spend the extra 130 grand, whatever it is, to do this in June as opposed to November. I think it's going to most likely be able to go through. I think it's a good idea. Just spending the extra money on the special election is something I'm a little bit opposed to, but I think it's a good enough idea. And once again, our main leases, most of our leases or most of our commercial leases are out there in the waterfront, I think. I mean, there's at least, 13 food service plus all the other leases out there, and those will all be tied into the Tidelands Trust. The times that it's come up in the past has not been that frequent, and if somebody is like with the Michael Jordan's example, I mean, we've always negotiated with tenants in good standing. So I can't imagine this would turn into an extension as opposed to a new lease. But I don't know what the technicality of that would be.
So
But
I-
when leases have come up against their terminal end, if they are in good standing, we've always quote-unquote negotiated in good faith. Now, I know that's not a hard and fast law, but that's always been city policy.
So I think the challenge is if, for example, an owner of a lease at the waterfront is coming up against their 50-year, like the end of a 50-year contract or lease, we would have to terminate that contract, enter into a month-to-month agreement, and then negotiate. So there creates some uncertainty for those individuals. And where that gets tricky is, if they know they can enter into another longer-term lease, they may be more willing at the end of a lease to do tenant improvements or other improvements to a space. So we have had that experience with a couple different tenants at the waterfront recently.
Right. I mean,
Could I add,
once again,
Mayor?
you're still against the 66-year Tidelands Trust cap.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, if I could add, Mayor, to Ms. McAdoo's point, the whole design and desire, and there is inherent value in this change even now, because I know a lot of the questions have been big picture, bigger projects, but it's also a change for even those of 5 years. And the logistic quagmire we're trying to fix is what Ms. McAdoo said, right? In one regard, if you have, let's say, a lease over 5 years, right? So we're not talking a long-term, huge lease. It's right in the charter still requires it to be approved by ordinance. So all of a sudden you have this inherent delay of 40 days. And what do? Do you do a license agreement to allow people to move in early and set up their shop and try to open the doors as quick as possible. If you do this change, right, it takes away that mess of waiting for, businesses to wait 40 days and go through a license agreement. Because you can approve the lease via resolution, and a resolution is effective immediately. So you don't have to wait the referendum period for that. So that clears that up. And then as Ms. McAdoo also said, is the highlight of just long-term leases. When you're coming up against it, you literally have to terminate that lease, stop it, and then renew. And it's such an awkward, weird situation. And then for this period of time where you're operating under a license agreement, so it's much needed cleanup, and it's much needed cleanup for short-term leases past 5 years, and it's a good long-term cleanup for long-term leases up to the cap or even beyond that. And that adds, the added benefit is, of course, is it gives security if people want to really put a lot of significant money into that. While those may not be in the horizon, long-term projects maybe not, we're always constantly getting shorter-term leases, new businesses coming in for 5, 10-year agreements, and this allows them to move in right away once council approves it versus waiting, 40 days for the contract to be approved. So there's some value, there's some monetary value. I don't know what that would be, but there is some cleanup value.
I get that. I just know that in our past history, and I'm so involved in the waterfront for so many years, that it was in fact, people would come against their terms having had 1 or 2 more 5s left or whatever it was. And those questions came up, but once again, if they were in good standing up to date on the rent, it wasn't, we would sit down and negotiate with them in good faith. It is a hindrance to getting financed or making plans if you're making significant improvements. I get that. I'm not really sure how this relieves it, because I don't remember how many times we came up against the 50-year thing over the years. That was the deciding factor. But I definitely see the point of going forward with this. I'm just want to make sure that if we spend an extra 130 grand, it's worth doing that. And that's my only issue. Mr. Jordan?
So I'm a little more convinced now with the staff recommendation. Definitely one on the wharf, not the one everybody's thinking of, but the one further out on the wharf. They were coming up against, they needed to reinfuse their thing, and it's like, then it's a trust deal, and we hold all the cards. You build it, and we own it. See you later. So, but other places like Ealing's is on the calendar for 3 or 5 years from now at the end of their term, and same thing. They want to build roads. They want to make improvements. They're going, why are we doing that if we're just removed summarily? And I like the reference to surface lots. Maybe that will help us get out of our own way and actually do something with our surface lots that benefit us other than running at 50 or 60% capacity on vehicles. I'll take a chance on the recommendation. I'm good with that. I swear I heard you say though that we could ask for a waiver on the FBOs at the airport for a long. It boggles me that somebody can go spend $3 or $5 million and only have 50 years of tenancy.
We can research it further, but I believe they have made exemptions in
Okay.
the past, but there's a process by which you have to go through.
All right. And in terms of current events, I think I'm much more bullish right now on Nordstrom's than Paseo Nuevo, much more optimistic. And so for them, it's a pathway amongst all the other problems. And for Paseo Nuevo, it's a leverage point to help bolster our negotiations with them. And so I think there's some real tangible gains, even potentially in the shorter run, than waiting until after the start of the year to have this tool in the box.
Mr. Friedman?
Just one quick point, just a caution, I wouldn't, just for Brown Act purposes, I wouldn't go specific on projects. I would talk more in the abstract, so just to be careful on that, that's all.
Well put, Mr. Doymus. Thank you. Mr. Friedman?
Well, in the abstract,
We're good at that.
I was struggling with it too because it's only 6 months or not even that, and we need to watch every dollar we have right now. But if we did have more tools, especially in the redevelopment of the entire Paseo Nuevo project, both of them, just having that out there, it gives us more tools to work with, and the sooner we can figure out what happens there, the better off we'll be. And if we can get there sooner, and then that would start generating more revenue, we would make that up within 6 months. Just having that fully functioning, you'll make that money up in 6 months. And then to the parking lots, the surface lots that we have, that's another those are others as well. So there's more opportunities there, and it allows us to start those sooner. And the sooner we can, it's better off. Additionally, with the cost of construction, with inflation in those, if we wait, that money, that $130,000 is lost with the rise in inflation if we wait longer to do it. So those are the factors I'm considering, but I will be supporting putting it on the June ballot.
Okay, Ms. Snedden.
Thank you. Oh, did you want to? Oh,
Did
okay.
you have one?
Yeah, just following up on that, let's get business moving quicker. And without talking about specific projects, there are many that it could be used. So I think a really important point is that we would be getting more investment for reuse of public land for public benefit. And I think maybe that what could be in the language is that's for public benefit.
I think we want to be careful about that because this provision also applies to private projects as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we have put, we've done some draft revision of the ballot question language, so we're going to put that up on the screen once Austin finishes typing. So, so that you can see what we're proposing for the ballot language instead.
Okay, and then I'm happy to move the recommendation for the June election.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Ms. Harmon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I share my colleagues' support, certainly for the effort. And I'll read that in a minute. I'll make my comments. I'm not sure I'm quite as convinced on June versus November, but I certainly don't feel strongly enough to advocate the other way. It's such a short amount of time, and I guess I do have a question. Do we have any concern about low voter turnout in a primary on which there's not, I mean, I don't even know what's going to be on the ballot, but I don't think a lot for the residents of the city of Santa Barbara around passage, because the only thing worse than not doing this is putting it on the ballot and having it fail. So do we have any concerns about June versus November on that front?
It is a gubernatorial primary, and it is an
Oh, good
open
point.
gubernatorial race this year, so, turnout may be high because of that. But
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, I haven't looked at voter turnout numbers around that, but it's not a re-election year for gubernatorial, it's an open election
Okay,
year.
good point. And is this, unlike tax initiatives, is this one that the city can advocate for, or no?
We can't advocate, we still can't use city resources for
Okay.
campaigning, but we can, again, share
Inform.
information publicly, put out as much information as possible. Council members can speak to community groups about the measure, why the council is pursuing it. That is all within the boundary of information sharing.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely support this. I'm on the wordsmithing here. I think I agree conceptually with the idea of providing more information so people know what they're voting for. Seeing our approval numbers, I have some concern that the specific notation that it's about increasing our authority is going to lead to some knee-jerk resistance votes, to be honest with you. I'll leave that to my colleagues to consider.
I mean, you could say, or just saying, allowing the city flexibility related
I
to
would maybe
terms and
go that direction.
condition.
Yeah,
Yeah, so could say something, so just,
that would be awesome.
yeah.
Or we could build upon, and the key word, I think that everyone's sentiment here is the word municipal affair, because what's important, what you always had and what you continue to have is absolute control over the approval and review of these contracts. And generally, when you're looking at this, you are looking for what is being proposed, if there's a public benefit in general. So just expanding upon that concept of municipal affair, because that's the main point of what you're accomplishing, is that the council still remains control over these approvals.
The only thing with using municipal affair, no offense, city attorney, is I think that people don't really know what that means. So maybe I think trying to put it in a little bit plainer language, yep.
Building upon that word, yeah, building upon that point. I understood.
Anybody even know who's running for governor? Anyway.
So this is we do need to make the county's deadlines for the June election. We do need to have the council weigh in on the language today to actually include, to modify the resolution. So I think that's,
So one suggestion, and I think now it's just getting so complicated, but what about just saying allowing flexibility related to terms? And so then our processes around council approval is not undermined. There's no questions about who's approving. It's still our process. It's just that the point is allowing flexibility.
that's fine. So
Does
just
that
delete
work?
the city.
Sorry.
Yep.
Well, I think anything we do to make the language as simple as possible is going to work in our favor, not make it look too obscure. The one thing I want to caution is, though, in talking about the quote-unquote abstract situation, is that this is a game changer for that, because this really may not relate to this at all, likely doesn't relate to it at all. And I don't want people to think, because we're doing this, that's what it's all about. Because that's a bit of a stretch. And if all of a sudden we're not talking those terms after this passes, it's going to be another one of those, bait and switch. So that, I don't think we need to include that we can't include that in the language, obviously. But I do think as we go forward and we're talking about this, that it's very current, that's a separate, standalone, abstract situation.
This
that,
is overall a better governance practice for the
Yes.
city. Allows a lot more flexibility in a lot of different ways, not just for any
Well,
specific
and the
project.
dispensation of public properties like parking lots and whatnot that will allow us to do things, that's the whole point of it. I just think, as like Mr. Doyman said, the further we stay away from a pending situation, the better in terms of communication with people, because there's already a lot of emotion and there's a lot of fear around the way the thing may or may not be structured. And I just don't want this to confuse that issue. So, like I said, whatever you're doing in terms of language, it's just got to be as simple and straightforward as possible, I think. Okay, that language as it stands is moved by Sneddon. Is there a second? You guys would know, you're not even, you don't even know what you're talking about, do you? You're yakking away. Okay, it's seconded by Harmon. Are there any further discussions or questions on the ballot language or the motion? And this is going to be for the interim election, the June primary. All right, everybody understand? Okay, Madam Clerk, would you go ahead and call the roll, please?
Yes, and first I'm actually just going to read the item into the record to make sure that's handled. And that's item 11, and this is just reading the title from the agenda. A resolution to call a special election and approve a ballot measure to amend the city charter to modernize Charter Section 521 relating to contracts and leases resolution. Recommendation that council adopt by reading of title only, a resolution of the council of the city of Santa Barbara approving and calling for the submission to the voters of a city council proposed measure to amend city charter section 521 to modernize provisions relating to city contracts and leases of city property at a special municipal election to be held in the city on June 2nd, 2026, and amending resolution number 25066, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2026 to appropriate $195,000 of general fund reserves. Okay, now to the motion on the floor. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sneddon, seconded by Councilmember Harmon, to adopt by reading of title only. I'll read, Mr. City Attorney, I'm going to read the recommendation from the agenda, and then I will add the new language of the proposed measure.
Yes, I think we may have so the one sentence we may want to change, Ms. Mackey, do we want to change that on the fly, the new language that we've kind of simplified?
In the actual, yes.
Mr. Attorney, we need two motions or just the one to wrap?
Just the one motion for
Okay, very good.
But we want to have, for the public's benefit, we've heard you, we want to make sure we have the new language on the one section, that sentence that we thought that was maybe too complicated and too wordy, and break that down. So just if you give us a moment to do that. Maybe, Ms. Mackey, do you want to do like a 5-minute recess and come back to
Yeah,
that?
can we do a 5-minute recess? This would be the actual amendment to the charter language. So we
Okay,
just want
very
to
good.
just
We will
go through that.
recess for
just
5
to-
minutes,
yeah.
back at
Yep,
2:55.
perfect.
Thank you.
you'll see the underlined sentence is added, and that is just a little simpler. So it says, "City has the authority and flexibility to approve contracts for the sale, lease, or use of city property as allowed by the city charter or the California Constitution. The city may lease property owned, held, or controlled by it with terms established by the city council." Instead of all the language about municipal affair, so there's just simple, straightforward, and again, making the change by ordinance or resolution.
All right, so everybody get a chance to read the language? And does the motion and second still stand?
Do you need the ballot question? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ray.
All right, everybody okay? Very good. We'll go ahead and take the roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Okay, so as ever, please correct me, Mr. City Attorney or Madam City Administrator, as necessary. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sneddon, seconded by Councilmember Harmon, to adopt by reading of title only a resolution of the Council of the City of Santa Barbara approving and calling for the submission to the voters of a City Council proposed measure to amend City Charter Section 521 to modernize provisions related to city contracts and leases of city property at a special municipal election to be held in the city on June 2nd, 2026, and amending Resolution Number 25066, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2026 to appropriate $195,000 of general fund reserves with two changes to the resolution. And the change to the proposed ballot question, that ballot question language will be changed to, shall the proposed measure to modernize city charter section 521, allowing the city council approval authority related to terms and conditions of contracts and leases of city property be adopted? No? We additionally, so there's going to be, in this motion, there are two changes to the document. One is the actual question that is going to the voters, which is what I just read, that new version. And now I'm going to read the actual change to the, the way in which the actual charter would be changed, which is what I will read that's on the screen right now.
Would you read again the ballot language and have it up on the board? Because I thought there was something different that you just said about the city council having flexibility, and I thought we took that out. Okay, yes, just this one. It doesn't say city council.
So I will read this into the record here. Okay. This is, again, the motion by Councilmember Sneddon, seconded by, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sneddon, seconded by Councilmember Harmon for the recommendation as listed in the agenda, but with the following changes. One, that the ballot question to state, shall the proposed measure to modernize City Charter Section 521, allowing flexibility related to terms and conditions of contracts and leases of city property be adopted? Question mark. Okay. And to change in again that resolution, the charter amendment to newly state with the new language that would appear in the charter. Section 521, contracts, restrictions, no contract or lease by which the city is bound for a longer period than 5 years shall be valid unless the contract, comma, or lease is approved by ordinance or resolution of the city council, period. The city has the authority and flexibility to approve contracts for the sale, comma, lease, comma, or use of city property as allowed by the city charter or the California Constitution, period. The city may lease property owned, comma, held, or controlled by it with terms established by the city council, period. The sections shall not apply to any franchise granted pursuant to the provisions of this charter or any contract for the furnishing or acquisition of the products, commodities, or services of any public utility. Agreed? Okay, that is the motion. Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
very good. Just a real quick question from Mr. Domas. So in the case of both the Tidelands Trust and the FAA, we don't have, that can remain silent because there's not part of the California Constitution, obviously, but we are restricted by those in those properties.
We are, yeah.
we don't
To
need
answer your
that.
question, those issues outside can remain silent, so there could be other laws too that come about that we have to be bound by, so we don't need to have an exhaustive list,
Okay.
so.
All right, very
we're
good.
with the change.
All right, motion's on the floor, second, and everybody got it? Now we may have the roll call vote, please.
Very good. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sneddon.
Yes.
Councilmember Harmon.
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan.
Yes.
Councilmember Friedman.
Yes.
Councilmember Santa Maria.
Yes.
And Mayor Rouse.
All right, passed unanimously, thank you. Okey dokey. We beat that paragraph to death. Council staff communications and council member committee assignment reports and/or engagements. Anyone got one? Ms. Sneddon.
Thank you, Mayor Rouse. I attended the Community Development and Housing Services Committee meeting. They set the schedule for the month of February to be scoring the applications and deliberating, and they'll meet every Tuesday this month, and then those recommendations will come to council. I attended a STEM women lunch at San Marcos, talking about leadership in science, and it was really well attended, actually. And then several of us stopped by to wish Anita Hughes a very happy 100th birthday. Then we all attended, many of us attended the Visit Santa Barbara Tourism Summit, and also the ribbon cutting for the Santa Barbara International Film Festival's McCurley Film Center. And just congratulations to Roger Durling, Sean Pratt, Benjamin Godet, and just really fabulous event.
Mr. Friedman.
Thank you. Attended the Tourism Summit, the council workshop last week. Also, happy birthday to Anita Hughes, 100th birthday. It's a milestone. Congratulations to her and her family for the celebration. And thank you to County Superintendent Sue Salcido for once again hosting the Women in Sports Luncheon, attended by hundreds of high school athletes from throughout the South Coast. And then also congratulations to the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, attended the ribbon cutting for the McCurley Film Center, and it opened just in time for the film festival this year. So we're looking forward to it taking place starting tomorrow.
All righty, and said film festival begins on Wednesday night at the Arlington, so they are in great shape and ready for that. Anybody else have a committee assignment report or an engagement report? All right, with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.